We can move on to defensive player of the year. Who do you think is gonna win defensive player of the year?
I think that there's definitely a few good options for Defensive Player of the Year. And the first one I have is Drew Holiday, who I believe had a very good, like, arguably could have won it last year. Now, this guy, he's proven to be a really good perimeter defender throughout the recent years and for pretty much his entire career. Now that he's on the Celtics, he's practically taking over Marcus Smart's old role. Um, and I'm sure that Milwaukee is definitely not happy because they traded him to Portland to get Dame, which is definitely an upgrade overall. But then they do lose defensive presence, which is obviously unfortunate. But on top of that, they have to see him at the end ending up on a rival team in the Eastern Conference that's arguably their biggest threat. It's gotta hurt for sure. So, and then obviously as a Lakers fan, I didn't like seeing that because it would have been my dream if the Lakers could have traded for Drew Holiday, even though I know we would have had to give up a lot. And see him go to Boston for sure hurt. But unfortunately, I will have to say that for Boston, that was a pretty big ad. So because the Celtics got a pretty big ad in Porzingis, but then they also lost Marcus Smart, which was a pretty big loss there. But afterwards, they pretty much made up for the Smart loss by getting Drew Holiday, who I would even argue is an upgrade. So that was a pretty big ad for the Celtics, and I think that they for sure got better by a pretty good amount from a team that was already really good. Um, so that being said, I think Drew has a very big point in potentially winning the Defensive Player of the Year. My second option would be Evan Mobley. Now he was pretty close to winning it last year, I think, and he's obviously a pretty good shot blocker. So I think that he is naturally up there as one of the top options to potentially win this award. I don't know if he per se will win it because of all those other good defenders, but I think not mentioning him as an option would be hard, so I'll put him as one of my options. The next option I have is Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is a really good perimeter defender and kind of similar to Drew's situation. He was one of the leaders in steals, I'm pretty sure, and he has proven to be a very vital piece, especially for those Suns teams. And on top of that, we saw how big of a dip the Suns went when they lost him because of how good he is on defense and how limited they were once they traded for Kevin Durant and the rest of the team that they had. I didn't have a lot of depth. So that shows how good of a defender Mikal Bridges is. So that's why I put him as an option here. But lastly, I think that there's a sleeper option. And we all know how good of a player he is when he is healthy. But unfortunately, that has been the issue as of late. But that player that I'm going to give an honorable mention to would be Anthony Davis. Now, if Anthony Davis is able to play the 65 games minimum to win awards, I think that he for sure has to be one of the top picks to winning Defensive Player of the Year. With that being said, at the end of the day, if I were to pick one winner for Defensive Player of the Year, I think I will go with um I'll go with Drew Holiday. Simply because I think that he was so close to winning it these last few years that it's time for him to finally win it all or win it this time. Think about Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of the times you think about the flashier players who are like shot blockers or big names, stuff like that. I think that a player like Drew has proven to be so valuable to his respective teams success that this is time for him to finally win the award. So, Memo, what do you think? Any thoughts on that, or who's your pick? Or
Yeah, I agree with a lot of your picks. I think it'll be like a three-man race. Uh, I think Mobley is going to be in the conversation and will be in the conversation for years to come. And I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he wins it this year. Even though he's so young, I think he has the talent to win it. Um, I think Drew Holiday has a good chance of winning it if the Boston Celtics remains one of the best defensive teams, which I honestly think they will. They already have a crazy uh, backcourt. Um, they have Drew and Derek White as defending the guards. They have um, Jason Tatum and uh, oh my gosh, what's his name? Brown. First save, I
Jaylen
forgot.
Brown?
Jalen Brown. He's they're both decent defenders as well. Kristaps Porzingis will average like one or two blocks. Um, I think they're gonna be great defensively, and I think Drew Holiday will be the one running the defense, and kind of like a when Marcus Smart won it because the Boston Celtics were so good at defense, he ended up winning it. I think it'll be a similar situation for Drew, but honestly, your sleeper pick is my like final pick. I think Anthony Davis will win it. I am being very, 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 very optimistic, and I think Anthony Davis is going to be healthy this upcoming season. And if he's healthy, not only will he be uh, defensive player of the year or at least one of the best defenders in the league, but he will also be one of the best players in general, I think. So that is who I am going with for defensive player of the year.
Like your optimism that AD will stay healthy and win the award this year, and I definitely hope you're right. Obviously, being Lakers fans, um, but obviously he does have a little bit of a target on his back because recent narratives that AD has been getting injured a lot. It's hard to necessarily depend on him to stay healthy, but if he does, I think he has a very good case in being the winner. So I like the optimism and I like the bold pick.
Thank you. Thank you.